Hi everyone, we are excited to have you here in today's fun-filled learning session at Uolo. Here is a quick look at how you can submit your work after the class. As a first step, go to live.uolo.com. You can use any browser to access this site. On this page, you will see a list of all our classes. Scroll down and you can see the Submit Your Work button. And then you will see a list of the classes that you've last attended, which could, for example, show the dance or craft or science experiment classes you've attended recently. Next, it will show you the list of children whose names are registered in this mobile number. Choose your name from this list to submit your work. For instance, if you are Satvik Kumar, choose that name. And then choose the class for which you would like to make your submission. For example, if you've attended the New Year's Masquerade Party session and you'd like to make the submission for this class, click on the Submit Your Work button below that. And then upload the photo you've taken. Choose the image from your phone and click Submit. You can scroll down and view all your past submissions and see how many of your friends or peers have liked your work. You can also see others' work and like their work to inspire your friends. If you want to showcase your work on social media, that too is very simple. Click on Share, copy the link and post it on Instagram or Facebook or any other platform of your choice. Just a tiny reminder, your submission looks a lot better if you could click a photo in the landscape mode rather than the portrait mode. Do not forget to tag us at YOLO_app. I'm eagerly looking forward to all your submissions right after this class.
Hi there, kids. How are you doing? So, welcome back to today's class. I hope you had a look at the submission video and it made sense to you on how to go ahead and make your submissions for each of the classes and the courses that you have been attending. So, in today's class, we're going to be learning how to do the second part of sketching. In the last class, we learned how to go ahead and do a bunch of gradations and blending and things like that. But in today's class, what we're going to do is we're going to take that knowledge a little bit further and learn how to do 10 different techniques of blending. Now this time we're not just going to be working with pencil where like how we did last time, wherein we just went ahead and took a pencil and learned how to go ahead and work with dark, medium, light. But in today's class, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and use sketch pen, and we're going to go ahead and learn a little bit more in terms of dark, medium, light, but using different mediums. So since today we have picked sketch pens, we're going to be working only with sketch pens, but you can go ahead and use this technique for whatever you like. You can go ahead and use it with crayons, you can go ahead and use it with color pencils, you can go ahead and use this with pencil itself, you can use this with pen, you can use this with paint, whatever you like. But basically the concept is that you're going to be learning a different technique. You're going to be learning specifically 10 different techniques to go ahead and do dark, medium, light, but in different formats, and they can be used in different manners. Now, one thing that we have to discuss, obviously, before we get started is what is the reason we are learning this and what is the point of this course. Now, this course basically is created for you to go ahead and learn the basic concepts of shading. Now, shading is something that if you learn, you can go ahead and use in anything later on. So, what I mean by later on with anything is basically when you paint any object, subject, or you draw any object, subject, illustration, whatever you do, when you go ahead and learn how to do shading, you can go ahead and use it in any subject or format. For example, in the last class we learned how to go ahead and do blending, the gradation concept. And if you go ahead and use that technique on a mountain, what will happen is your mountain will end up looking very, very 3D and realistic. So if you learn how to do these 10 techniques and you go ahead and attend all of the classes in this course, what will happen is you'll get a very, very, very good insight on how the concept of light and dark and medium, the whole tone concept would work. And if you go ahead and learn that, what will happen is any picture that you paint tomorrow, you can go ahead and make it look realistic. So that's exactly what we want to learn. So Before that, I also want to talk to you about the certificate program and the feedback program. So, what is the certificate program? The certificate program is basically a program where we give you a certificate for the classes that you are attending. So, the way you can get a certificate basically is that you go ahead and attend all of the classes of a particular course. For example, this is the sketching course. So, go ahead and attend all of the classes of this course and go ahead and make submissions for each of the classes. If you do both of those, then at the end you'll go ahead and receive a certificate that will identify all the work and the skills that you have developed through this course. So tomorrow if someone asks you, have you learned sketching, you can go ahead and produce the certificate to them and tell them, yes, I have learned sketching and this is what I have gone ahead and learned. So it'll be very helpful for you later on in the future. Apart from that, another thing that is very, very important is that the feedback program that we have. So like you all know, that if you go ahead and make your submission, then you will be there'll be a top 10 selected. Now if you get selected as part of that top 10, then I will be giving personalized feedback to those top 10 students. Now what is the reason behind that feedback? Now the feedback mainly is to kind of make you grow a little bit more. So there may be certain skills, certain things that you know and you are doing so well with it, and probably I can identify those skills and tell you to go on further with that and develop more on those lines. So what will happen is you can work on the skill a little bit better and you will get really, really good at it. So that's the concept of our feedback program. So now let's get started with today's class and starting off with the materials that we need. The first material that we need is obviously a sketchbook. So if you can go ahead and use a drawing book or a sketchbook like I have right here. If you do not have a drawing book or a sketchbook or a journal like I do, then you can definitely go ahead and take any unruled sheet of paper or an A4 size sheet of paper. The next thing that you need for today's class is going to be a bunch of pencils. Now, like I mentioned, this class is not going to be only pencil sketching or pencil shading. So, which is why you have to have just like one pencil of your choice. Just have a pencil that is dark. You don't want to have a very, very light pencil. Just make sure you have a nice, good dark pencil. The third thing that you need for today's class is going to be sketch pens. Now you can go ahead and get any sketch pens of your choice, whatever colors you have. You're obviously going to be doing 10 techniques. Out of the 10 techniques, 2 are going to be out with pencil and the rest 8 are going to be with sketch pens. So any colors of your choice you can go ahead and pick. If you feel like you don't want to use different colors and you want to use one color sketch pen, that's also completely all right. Just have a whole bunch of sketch pens. So let's get started with today's class. So the first thing that we want to go ahead and do is we want to go ahead and draw a box. Now we're going to be doing all of our pencil techniques or all of our shading techniques in boxes. So in this sheet, I'm going to be doing 6 boxes and the next sheet, I'm going to be doing 4 boxes. Now here, if you feel like you're struggling how to go ahead and do a box, then you can go ahead and do one with a scale. That's completely all right for you to do. Like I mentioned, the first 2 boxes are going to be with pencil. So grab your pencil for this one. For the next 8, we're going to be using a sketch pen. So go ahead and draw a box. Well done. Okay, everybody's looking neat. Great, let's start. Now, the first technique that we're going to be working with is called blending. Now, blending is very similar to what we learned in the last class. In the last class, we learned how to do a gradation from dark, medium, and light. Now, all of the techniques that you're going to be learning before we get started with this one is going to be a concept of dark, medium, light at the end of the day. You're going to be working with dark on one side, medium in the center, and light on the other side. Now, whether you are doing it with sketch pen or we're doing it with pencil, the concept will remain the same. Now in the next few classes, when we go ahead and do our sketching, we're going to be using these techniques, right? So go ahead and pay attention to each of these techniques. So for the first one, what you're going to do is you're going to do exactly the gradation that we did like in the last class. On the side, we're going to go ahead and start pressing our pencil down, starting with the dark tone like I am going to right now. pressing my pencil down, getting a nice dark tone going. As I come towards the middle, I'm going to lift my pencil off a little bit to get my medium tone. And as I come all the way to the end, I'm going to be lifting off my pencil completely to get a light tone. Now, this is the blending technique. So I want my box to be completely covered and nice and well, completed. I don't want any gaps here and there. So on the sides as well, I'm going to follow the same technique. I'm going to do dark on the top, medium in the center, and light all the way till the end. Leave any gaps here and there. So you can see I'm nicely filling it up. Make sure you get it nice and neat. You can go over like how I am right now, no problem if you need to go over it. So here I have my first technique done, which is my blending. So take your time to do this. You don't have to hurry, you don't have to rush, you don't have to do anything. It is completely up to you to go ahead and do it. So take your time to go ahead and do it, because it's something new that you're learning. Looking at everybody's sheet, and everybody is doing an excellent job. Very well done, everybody. Well done, well done. Okay, good. So since everybody's done a good job, we can move on to the second technique. Now, the second technique is basically called scribbling. We're going to have two scribbling techniques in this class today. The first one is going to be with pencil, and the second one is going to be with sketch pen. The first technique that we did with the pencil, which we're going to do right now, is going to be a little bit different from the second one. And when you do the second one, you'll notice the difference. So let's start with the first one. For the first one, again, I want you to go ahead and take a pencil and draw a box out. So draw a nice and easy box. Well done. And what we're going to do is we're going to again work with dark, medium, light. So towards one side, I'm going to be doing dark. Towards the center, I'm going to be doing medium. And towards the end, I'm going to be doing light. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead in circular motions. So scribble, 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 scribble. When you press your pencil down, you're going to get darker scribbles. When you press it a little lesser, you're going to get a little lighter. And when you press a little lighter, you're going to get a little lighter. So see how I go ahead and do it. Oh, towards the edge, I'm going to be pressing my pencil nicely to get really, really dark scribbles. As you can see, really, really nice dark scribbles I'm getting. And as I'm moving away, you can see I'm going to do it little lighter. So what is going to happen at the end is you're going to have a box which is going to have dark towards one side, then you're going to have medium, and then you're going to have light. So slowly going ahead and added a dark patch. Then as I'm coming to the center, I'm doing a medium patch. And as I'm going towards the end, I'm getting a light patch. There you go. See, so easy and so nice. If any spots you feel like is not dark enough and you need to go ahead and darken it up a little bit more, please go ahead and do so. Don't like hesitate in going ahead and making corrections or doing anything of that sort. Basically, you want to go in circular motions and get it looking like this. Look at how beautiful and easy that's looking. So you can see this is basically scribbling, right? We went ahead in circular motions and we did this. So dark on one side, medium in the center, and completely light in the end. I can see everybody is doing a wonderful job. Excellent, everybody. Well done. Great. So now everybody's sheet is looking wonderful and fantastic. So now we can go ahead with the third technique. Now for the third technique, like I mentioned, the next 8 techniques are all going to be done with sketch pen. If you do not have a sketch pen by any chance, then you can definitely go ahead and do this with a pencil or a color pencil or a crayon. There is no hard and fast rule that you have to go ahead and do this with a sketch pen itself. For the first one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take a pink color sketch pen, and I'm going to go ahead and draw a box right next to my top blending box. So you can get started with the same. Take any color of your choice and go ahead and draw a box. Now the technique that we're going to go ahead and do now is called hatching. So hatching basically is basically long lines, and the number of lines you add will basically determine your dark, medium, light. So what I'm going to be doing is basically I'm going to be going ahead and adding a dark patch over the left bottom side, and as we go up towards the right top side, I'm going to have it to be lighter. So the way we're going to basically do this is we're going to do long lines, and in the end towards the side I'm going to do a little bit more lines on top, making it look darker. So let's go ahead and do this technique. So take your sketch pen, same pink color sketch pen I'm going to do, and I'm going to go ahead and draw a bunch of lines. So you can see drawing lines from the left side towards the right. See, very, very simple. So now what I've done is I have left this part of it empty because that's going to be my light side. Here I want it to be medium and here I want it to be dark. Now to make it look dark, the concept of hatching basically is just doing lines. We don't want to add anything more. So how do we make it look dark? We add more lines to make it look darker. So taking my sketch pen again, and I'm going to add more lines over there to make it look darker. So as you can see, adding so many more lines. So take your time in doing this. Don't have to do it fast. So as you can see, simple. So here if you see, you have complete light. Then here you can see we have complete medium. And here you can see we have complete dark. That's exactly what we wanted to look like. I'm seeing everybody's sheets and it's looking absolutely wonderful. So excellent job, everybody. Great job. I'm very happy with how it's all looking. Well done. Okay, so everybody's got hatching done. So the next technique we're going to do is cross hatching. Now, cross hatching is very, very similar to hatching itself. But in cross hatching, what we do, instead of doing just one line going towards one side, we cross it with another line. So it's like adding like crosses onto each other. So that's what we're going to start off with now. So I want you to take the next color sketch pen of your choice. I'm going to be taking a red color sketch pen and I'm going to be drawing a box now. There you go. So everybody, whoever has made a mistake or doing something, I'm just going to wait for you for a second over here. Anybody who's lagging behind or, still needs to correct anything, please go ahead and do so immediately. I'm just going to wait for you for a second. Okay, well done. All right, so everybody is done with their box. Now, cross hatching, like I mentioned, is going to be crosses onto each other. So we're going to do something very, very similar. We're going to go ahead and start with the lines like how we did with the pink, and then we're going to do some more lines across. So let's start with the pink. Taking the same red sketch pen, I'm going to start with the center. I'm going to draw lines again going from left to right, as you can see. So this is how your line should be looking. This is step number one. So similar to what we did on top. Now what we're going to do again is we're going to keep this part light, the center part medium, and the bottom part dark. Now to go ahead and do so, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add in lines going across over here towards this side. So let's go ahead and do so. So across the other side, I'm going ahead and adding more lines. So as you can see, if I'm looking at the box now, the bottom corner right there is dark. The center part is light because it has just a few lines, and the top part is completely light. So that's exactly what we wanted to do. I'm just going to play this part again just in case you get a little confused, you don't know what just happened. I'm just going to play that one more time so you get an idea. So first thing you're going to do obviously was drawing the box. So I think all of you have drawn the box. Then like how we did it in the pink one, we're going to draw lines coming across. We're going to go from the left bottom to the right top, drawing a bunch of lines. And then across, we're going to go ahead and draw a bunch of lines to darken it up, almost like creating boxes. That's it. So if anybody of you have not got it, go ahead and do it right now. I'm going to be waiting for you for just a second before we continue and move on to the next part. I'm looking at everybody's boxes and it's looking fantastic. Very, very, very done. Well done, guys. Excellent. Okay, so I can see everybody's boxes. They're looking very nice. Excellent job. Very colorful sheets also. So very, very happy with how everybody's work is looking. Good, good, good job. Now let's move on to the next part of it, which is going to be stippling. For stippling, I'm going to be using a purple color sketch pen. You can go ahead again and take any color sketch pen of your choice, and I'm going to be going ahead and drawing a box. So go ahead and draw a box, and then I'm going to explain what stippling actually is and what is the shading technique that we're going to be using today. So go ahead and take a purple color sketch pen or any color sketch pen, frankly, of your choice and draw a box. Okay, so while everybody is drawing their boxes, let me explain the concept of stippling to you. Now, what is stippling? Stippling basically is using a bunch of dots. Now, earlier we have done lines. Now we're going to go ahead and do a bunch of dots. Now, if you go ahead and draw many dots together, what will happen is it will look like the whole place is filled up and it look dark. When you go ahead and scatter out your dots a little bit more, then it will look a little bit like it's less scattered. And if you add dots really, really far away from each other, it will look like there are many dots far away from each other. Now that is the way we're going to use, and that's the technique we're going to go ahead and use to go ahead and create a dark medium light. So what we're going to do is on one side we're going to do many dots, in the center we're going to do little less dots, and the final part we're going to do very scattered dots. So go ahead and take the same sketch pen of you have taken whichever. I've gone ahead and taken purple right here, so I'm going to be doing purple as well, and we're going to go ahead and start with the leftmost side. And on the leftmost side, as you can see, right next to each other, I'm going ahead and drawing a bunch of dots and a number of dots right next to each other, really close to one another. So the idea is to basically make it look like that all the dots are very close to each other. So like you can see how I'm doing it right now, really close. Now after this, what I'm going to do is, that's my whole dark patch done. After this, I'm going to go ahead and start moving them a little further away from each other. So you can see now I'm making a lot more distance between my dots, and now it looks like the dots are a little more far away. So we're getting a medium tone right here. And now as I move towards the end, I'm going to make my dots further away from each other, and that's going to be my light part. Now here on the top, if you feel like there's a little bit of an empty spot, then go ahead and add in more dots if you need to. So have a look here. What it looks like is we have a bunch of dark dots, then we have a bunch of medium dots, and then we have a bunch of light dots. So if I look at that box, on one side it looks dark, in the center it looks medium, and the end it looks light. So this is how stippling works. So if you want to do shading using stippling, basically you're going to be using dots and adding, this way of doing it. I'm looking at everybody's boxes and everybody's doing such a wonderful job, and that makes me so happy. Excellent, everybody. All right, well done. So since everybody's done a wonderful job with the purple stippling box, we can move on to the next box, which is going to be short dashes. Now you can go ahead and do shading, like I told you, with any kind of technique. Now cross hatching and hatching, both of them were very long lines that we had. But what you can do is you can do small strokes like this, line, and also create a dark medium light concept. So here for this one, I'm going to be basically taking a brown color sketch pen and drawing a box. You can go ahead and take any sketch pen of your choice. It's completely up to you to go ahead and take whatever sketch pen of your choice. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take a bunch of short dashes. So short lines, short strokes. Now the more strokes you add in, it's the same, almost very similar concept to stippling. The more dots you add, more lines you add in one place, the more full it'll look. But the place where you add lesser lines, it'll look lesser full, right? So that's exactly what we're going to do. So what I'm going to do is the top left corner is going to be my dark side, and the right bottom corner is going to be my light side. So I'm going to be starting drawing short strokes. So see how I'm doing it? Short strokes. So I'm starting from the left on top, and that part over there is going to be my dark tone. And as I come down, I want it to be my light tone. So as you can see, I'm just going ahead and adding in some dashes like this. And on the top, I'm going to start adding more and more dashes to make it look like it's dark. So short dashes, very easy, very simple. So as you can see, they're done. And now on top, I'm going to add a lot more dashes to make it look like it's dark. That's it. So simple, isn't it, guys? That's it. So down as well, adding a few dashes to make it look light. And done. So if you have a look at it now, you can see that the corner over there is dark, then you have the center part which is medium, and then we have the bottom part which is completely light. So this is how it should be looking. So take your time to do this. I can see everybody's boxes is looking nice. If you feel like you need to take a little bit more time, I'm going to wait for you. If you made any mistakes or you need to make any corrections, I'm going to wait for you just for a second, and then we can move on. Excellent, everybody's done a wonderful job. Great. Okay, so I'm looking at everybody's sheet. It's looking really, really nice. Very well done. Again, everybody's understood the concept of dark, medium, light, which makes me very happy. All right, so now let's move on to the next one. So I've taken a fresh sheet of paper, and here I've taken a blue color sketch pen, and I've gone ahead and drawn another box. Now you can go ahead, like I mentioned, and take any color sketch pen of your choice. You don't have to use the same colors that I'm using. Okay, so I'm going to explain the technique that we're going to be doing now. The technique that we're going to be doing now is called contouring. Contouring basically is curves. Contour is a curve. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and do a bunch of curves. Now, if you know, if you go ahead and do many lines together or dots together or dashes together, like I mentioned till now, it's going to look more full. So what we are going to do is starting from here, we're going to do small curves starting like this, and the closer the curves here, as we come away, we're going to be making the curves little more further away, and finally at the end we're going to do really, really far apart. So just have a look at what I'm explaining to you right now. Once I do it, you can go ahead and do it after me. So you can see really, really close, but as I'm going further away, I'm making the curves go further away from each other. The distance between each curve increases. So if you have a look here, what it finally looks like is that this part is dark, and as we come further away, it's getting lighter, lighter, lighter. So I think everybody's understood the technique. So I'm just going to go ahead and replay it, and you can draw it with me. So start with any color sketch pen and do short curves close to each other, and as you keep going away, make them more far apart. As you can see, really simple, making them go far apart from each other. Well done, guys. Everybody's sheet is looking perfect, fantastic. Now the concept that we have been using till now, the same thing about, when things are closer to each other, they look more full, and when they're further away from each other, they look more distant, is the technique that we're going to be continuously using for the next three things as well. The next one is called a concept of threes, wherein we're going to be using the number three to fill up our box. On one side, like we did with the contouring, on the left top side, we're going to be doing a whole bunch of threes closed up together, but as we go away from each other, we're going to do a little bit lesser and scattered away. So very similar to stippling, very similar to what we did with the contouring. We're going to do the same thing but with the number 3. So you can go ahead and take a sketch pen of your choice. I'm going to be taking orange color at this point of time, and I'm drawing my box. Oh, sorry. Before we move on to threes, I want to go ahead and do this one. I'm so sorry about the mistake that I made. We're going to go ahead and take a green color sketch pen and do scribbling. Now, scribbling, the concept that we're going to be using is same as the threes concept. It's just that we're going to scribble more on one side and scribble less on the other side. And what we're going to do is the size of our scribbles is also going to change. On one side, we're going to do scribbles that are really, really close together, how we did in the first pencil one. But as we move towards the lighter side, we're going to, make our scribbles bigger and bigger so it looks, lighter and lighter. So first go ahead and draw a box. I'm going ahead and taking dark green for this one and drawing a box. And what I'm going to do now is, again, on my left hand side, I'm going to be doing scribbles very, very close to each other, so really tightly packed. And what I'm going to do is, as I come towards the center, I'm going to have my scribbles little far apart from each other. And towards the end, so you can see bigger scribbles. And finally, in the end, I'm going to do big scribbles, making a little bit more scribbles to make it look a lot more full. So as you can see, so simple. On one side it's dark, middle it's medium shade, and light it's on the other side. So very, very easy technique, as you can see. Excellent job, everybody. Okay, well done. So since everybody's done a good job, I can see everybody's sheet. Everybody's got a knack of what we're doing right now. We can move on to the next one. The next one, like I mentioned, is going to be the threes. Since I've already explained the whole concept of the threes, we can get started with the same. So take an color sketch pen of your choice, any color sketch pen of your choice, completely up to you. I'm going ahead and taking an orange color sketch pen and I'm drawing a box. And we're going to go ahead and do a bunch of threes towards the corner. That's going to be more number of threes on one side. So you can see I'm literally drawing the number 3 over here. So you can see on one side I'm going to make it darker by adding more threes, and as I come to the center I'm going to reduce the number of threes that I do, and as I come towards the rightmost side I'm going to reduce the number of threes completely to make it look like it's empty. So slowly take your time in doing these kind of techniques. You don't have to do it really fast or jaldi because then what's going to happen is it's going to look very, very dirty, and you don't want it to look dirty. You want it to look neat and nice. So as you can see, simple, easy, isn't it? So towards one side we did dark, and towards the other side we did light and medium. There you go. How easy was that? So you can see over here it's dark, over center it's a little more scattered away, so it's medium, and towards the end it's completely light. Very well done, everybody. I'm seeing everybody's and it's looking absolutely well done, so good job. Okay, since everybody is done with this, we can go ahead and do the last technique. The last technique is called the zigzag technique, wherein we're going to be drawing a bunch of zigzag. Now, the contouring technique and the zigzag technique is a little similar to each other. How we went ahead and did curves for the contouring technique, in the last one, we're going to go ahead and do a bunch of zigzags. Now, instead of it being on the top left corner, on the bottom left corner, I'm going to be making the darker one. So towards one side I'm going to play the video so that you understand how. First have a look at what I'm doing and then you can do it alongside me. So I'm going to be taking green color sketch pen for this one. First, I'm going to go ahead and draw a box, and we're going to do it very similar to how we did the contouring, just that it's going to be a zigzag pattern, and we're going to do the zigzags very close to each other. And as we go further away, we're going to go ahead and make the zigzags go a little bit more further away from each other, and that's going to give our dark, medium, light effect. So you can see simple zigzags, and I'm going to move the zigzags far away from each other. So you can see I'm going far away. So here I'm filling up more zigzags on the top so that it makes it look a little bit more darker. And there we have our zigzag technique. So see how simple that was, right? On one side we did more zigzags, on the center we did little less, and on the end we did completely little. So now since you've understood the concept, how it's similar to the contouring technique, but it's a little bit different in its own way, you can go ahead and try it right now. I'm just going to play that part again. So go ahead and draw your box if you haven't drawn it. You can use any color sketch pen like I've mentioned till now. Any color sketch pen of your choice. No hard and fast rule with which sketch pen you want to go ahead and use. And now go ahead and start with your zigzags. Slowly do your zigzags. If you feel like it's going to be a little hard for you to do, take your time in drawing this. So as you can see, slowly going ahead and drawing my zigzags, taking my time doing it, not rushing into it. And there we go. How easy was that? I'm going to wait here for a second just in case you have made a mistake or you want to go ahead and still have a look at it. Please go ahead and have a look at it. I'm looking at everybody's books and it's looking excellent. All right, so I'm looking at everybody's sheets and everybody's done such a wonderful job, which I'm so happy with. So in today's class, what we learned was we learned 10 shading techniques. So let's name out the shading techniques. Go back to your first sheet. The first shading technique that we learned was blending. The second shading technique we learned was scribbling. The third one we learned was hatching. Fourth one we learned was cross hatching. Then we learned stippling. Then we learned short dashes. Then we went ahead and learned how to do contouring. Then we went ahead and learned how to do scribbling with sketch pen. Then we learned freeze technique, and then we learned the zigzag technique. Now in all of these, if you have a look at it, you've done dark on one side, medium in the center, and light on the ending side. And that is exactly the concept that you have to learn and understand. Now by this practice that we have done today, you would have got a very good idea on how to go ahead and do the dark, medium, light concept. For your submission in today's class, I just want you to take a picture of all of the techniques that you've learned today and upload it so that I can go ahead and have a look at any mistakes or any corrections that anybody needs to do. Plus, I'm going to be selecting a top 10 for the same. Now, something to remember before we end today's class is, firstly, in today's class and the previous class, we've learned all about techniques. But from the next class onwards, we're going to be focusing on actually using the technique to go ahead and do a subject or an object. So we're going to be starting with 3D objects in the next class. So make sure you go ahead and attend that class and the classes after that if you want to understand shading to its core. That's point number one. Point number two basically is that please go ahead and attend all the classes of this course if you want to go ahead and get a certificate in the end. The last thing is that go ahead and make a submission for each of the classes again to get a certificate. Plus, remember, top 10 students will get a personalized feedback. So please go ahead and make your submissions and do not delay it whatsoever. I hope you had a wonderful time in today's class because I had a lot of fun teaching you all of these techniques, and I will see you in the next one. Have a look at the submission video if you haven't learned how to go ahead and make your submissions yet. Bye.
Hi everyone, we are excited to have you here in today's fun-filled learning session at Uolo. Here is a quick look at how you can submit your work after the class. As a first step, go to live.uolo.com. You can use any browser to access this site. On this page, you will see a list of all our classes. Scroll down and you can see the Submit Your Work button. And then you will see a list of the classes that you've last attended, which could, for example, show the dance or craft or science experiment classes you've attended recently. Next, it will show you the list of children whose names are registered in this mobile number. Choose your name from this list to submit your work. For instance, if you are Satvik Kumar, choose that name. And then choose the class for which you would like to make your submission. For example, if you've attended the New Year's Masquerade Party session, and you'd like to make the submission for this class, click on the Submit Your Work button below that, and then upload the photo you've taken. Choose the image from your phone and click Submit. You can scroll down and view all your past submissions and see how many of your friends or peers have liked your work. You can also see others' work and like their work to inspire your friends. If you want to showcase your work on social media, that too is very simple. Click on Share, copy the link and post it on Instagram or Facebook or any other platform of your choice. Just a tiny reminder, your submission looks a lot better if you could click a photo in the landscape mode rather than the portrait mode. Do not forget to tag us at Uolo_app. I'm eagerly looking forward to all your submissions right after this